So the trolley handle is held on by 3mm screws. So there's 4 of them, 2 on each side. With the screws out of the way, lift the handle up and use it to wiggle the handle off the wheel. Next, the top cover has 8 3mm head screws from the front to the back. Now you'll want to go ahead and slowly lift the top cover. Keep in mind that there is a cable, so we'll reach in here and remove that cable.
Now with the zip tie removed, just be careful of this antenna, and then there's 3 3mm screws holding this box together. Now underneath here there are some plastic spacers, so as you remove the screws, just make sure not to lose the spacers. So these here are the plastic spacers that you want to make sure you don't misplace them. So in total you should have 3 3mm screws and 3 spacers. Now with those screws removed, you'll see the Ride Connect module is nice and free. Now what you'll want to do is unplug it either from here if you want to do it temporarily, or you can take the plug right off the board for a more permanent solution. Now this metal piece here is the stand for the Ride Connect, but what I would say is if you do remove your Ride Connect module, it would be good to tape or zip tie your antenna back here, because this antenna is for the Bluetooth. Otherwise, this will be dangling and it's not ideal. However, if you want to remove the stand, there's 2 3mm screws, 1 on each side, and we'll go ahead and remove those. Got 1 screw down here, so just make sure you grab that out and don't leave any dangling screws in your control board. So you have 2 3mm head screws.
Now that we're here, we can now go ahead and remove the Chargeport. Now before we go and unscrew anything, we've got to remove the Chargeport plugs. So there's going to be these 2 plugs that are in the white sheaths that go to the batteries. So again, we're going to pull this connector off and then make sure that you're holding the XT cable as you pull it apart. Do not yank on these cables. And then over here, we have the same thing. We have a clip and then the XT cable. Now that that's removed, the last step is actually on the USB port here. You'll see this plug. We pull that latch and then yank it outwards. Now with that, the Chargeport's ready to go. Now if you look at the outside of this Chargeport, you'll see it's held on by 4 Phillips screws. With those screws removed, you can go ahead and pull the Chargeport out, making sure to feed the wires and the cables so you don't break anything. Now with that out of the way, we can go ahead and install the new one. Now when installing your new replacement Chargeport, again, we're going to go from the outside in. We're going to insert the cables into the hole and then just guide it to make sure that nothing gets snagged on any of the boards. Now one at a time, we're going to throw these in here. And if you put them on an upward trajectory, it'll help them get into place easier. Okay, now once you've placed it there, we're going to go ahead and screw in the screws. Make sure that it has a nice watertight snug fit. Now we're going to just make them lightly tight, and then we'll snug everything down once all the screws are in place. Remember, you got 4 screws, so you're going to put the 3rd one in place now. Now once you have all 4 screws, we're going to snug it down tight. Again, just make it tight and then an extra quarter turn for that water seal. So tight and then an extra quarter turn. Tight and then an extra quarter turn. Tight and an extra quarter turn. And once you have your Chargeport back in place, we're going to go ahead and reconnect it. So we got 3 cables to connect. The short one will connect to the battery down here, the long one over here, and then this last cable we will connect to the USB Chargeport. So we'll go ahead and connect that one first, making sure that it clicks into place, and then the cable, I can shove it out of the way. Here, the XT cable, making sure that after you plug it in, there's no gap, and then aligning these clips. And then lastly over here, same thing, we're going to align the XT cable. There is a round and a square end, so make sure those match up with no gap, and then we'll clip this connector into place. There you go. With that, your Chargeport is replaced.
Now to reinstall the Ride Connect, what we're going to do is grab the metal frame for the Ride Connect. Now the point with 2 screws is towards the left of the wheel, so you can match up the mounting holes to the plate. And then we're going to grab our 2 short 3mm head screws. And lightly place them in the threading. Now that we have one place, we're going to put the other side. And once both sides are in the threads, we're going to tighten them down. Just make sure it's snug. You don't need to over tighten. So both of those are snug. We got a nice bracket. Next, we're going to grab our Ride Connect. However, you have to remember that we did remove 3 of these white spacers. So make sure you apply these spacers before putting the Ride Connect box on top. So these spacers will go between this mounting plate and the Ride Connect box. So sometimes, like what I like to do, is put the screws in the holes, and this will help me align and capture those spacers. Once you've captured the spacers, we're going to go ahead and take your 3mm and try to align the screw to the hole. I got one in, comes the second one. Now before you tighten down these screws, you want to make sure that there's no cables or stress in the way. So like right here, the battery cable is applying some pressure. Make sure we squeeze that down. We have the Ride Connect connector here, so just make sure you align this slot with that notch. And when you do, you can go ahead and plug that in, just like that. Again, there's also these 2 arrows that line up the direction, and then just making sure that it's a snug fit with a click, as you heard. So now let's go ahead and tighten down this Ride Connect box. Again, finger tight, not too much torque, but just enough to be tight. Okay. Now before we wrap this up, there used to be a zip tie here for the antenna. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tape the antenna to this box with a small bit amount of tape. Just like that.
Now when putting the top cover, you'll want to make sure you plug in the display cable, which is near the Ride Connect module at the back. With that clicked into place, we're going to put down our top cover while making sure that none of the cables are being pinched or have the ability to be pinched. With that in place, we'll put all of the screws lightly in first. Now that all the screws are in place, we're going to go and tighten them down one at a time. Now when you tighten them down, just make sure that the body line sits flush with the body, and this will make sure that you have the best eye aesthetic experience. Now lastly, we have the trolley handle. I'm going to place it in the groove and screw it down with the 3mm screws, 4 of them. With that all done, you should be good to go and turn on your wheel.